Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Immigrant Section. It's your boy Abbas Wahab telling you what is going on in the new studio. Still trying to get this lighting good and all that, but we'll figure this shit out slowly but surely. First things first, smash that subscribe button right there so you know when these episodes drop. And if you're listening from Apple, Spotify, Google, do the same so you can join the Immigrant Section, find out when episodes release. It's Tuesday, but hit it anyway, okay? In the studio with me today, my guy just had me on his show. Funny comedian out here in Toronto, my boy Ariel Kagan. What are you saying, dog?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome.
Only harassed you a little bit.
Yeah.
I courted you at the show.
You're like, what's the deal, bro? I'm an immigrant.
Yeah.
I'm an immigrant.
I should have been first on the list. No.
Come here a little closer.
Yeah,
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just
first South African on the pod, huh?
Oh,
you're repping South Africa.
Finally, this is who you want repping South Africa. The white face.
Yeah, exactly.
The white face of Africa. No,
yeah, you've been talking a lot of shit about Mandela since day one.
Oh, yeah. No. I actually very pro Mandela.
Yeah.
Very pro Mandela.
I like how you said actually.
Actually.
Yeah, it's really? Like I'm supposed to be surprised.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, is the average white South African anti-Mandela? Like I don't know anything. I've never been to Johannesburg. I don't know anything.
Yeah, I'll give you the metric, the test.
Please.
Were they born before 1994? Or like were they a kid in 1994? Right, because I was a child in 1994.
Is that when he came out of prison?
When he took over as president,
yeah,
I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I had no black kids in my school.
Yeah.
And then black kids showed up. I literally was showing someone my photo album literally like this week. And I was like, white kids, Mandela and black president. Kids. Yeah, and it's literally the year he became president.
Was there a law that changed?
I don't know. That's what's even weirder. It's like, for me, like, it's so hard to talk about because you sound like such an asshole. But
no. Just say
we had a maid who lived on our property.
Dude, everybody in Africa has a maid.
Yeah, we had a maid.
In Sudan, we have maids.
Yeah, we like.
But when you're white with a maid, it's not a good look.
Not a good look. Exactly. Every time I tell someone, they're like, "So you had a slave?"
Yeah.
I was like,
"No,
they
were paid.
They had housing.
Exactly.
My mom sent the kids to school. There was a contractual agreement.
Oh, it's very common in Africa.
Yeah.
Very, very common.
So it's like, actually, I think one of the reasons I think maybe I didn't push to do this podcast a while ago was like I'm scared, like I'm gonna say just the one wrong thing because it's just like how it was, you know.
There's no wrong thing.
Yeah.
I just want to know what your experience is over there, and I have a bunch of questions. But just give me the gist.
Honestly, it still feels like home, which is kind of terrifying because I've lived here for 8 years.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I mean, you grew up there.
No, but it's like I never understood why people were patriotic until I left a country. And I was like, oh, I get it. Like, gives me an identity almost, right? Like, and I felt like I belonged there. Like, here I feel like I'm a little bit of like a thorn. And I'm being like a little rejected. Just a little bit.
Had you come here, it would be much more confusing if you came here at 6. See, I came here at 6.
Yeah.
So now Canada is that for me. But Sudan is still that. When I'm there, it's the fact that I look like everybody else and I'm hiding in plain sight that really makes you feel like you're at home.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But culturally, the way I think, I'm looking for Tim Hortons. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty fucking
you
Canadian.
You should take Tim Hortons to the Sudan, dude.
It would not work, dude.
Nah, you would make a killer.
It would have to be halal. That would already be an issue. Dude, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work. People don't care for double-doubles over there.
They don't like donuts?
We'll find out. Do the Sudanese, like, we got a lot of Sudanese, like, yo, leave a comment if you like that. No, people are, they're like, we're not gonna do that.
We came to the comments to shit talk.
Yeah.
I didn't come here I like donuts and fuck you, you know?
It's like, I saw that asshole owes me money from Johannesburg. Are you Johannesburg?
Yeah, from Johannesburg.
That's like all I know.
Yeah.
Oh, and Cape Town.
So, you know how like Toronto views Vancouver?
Like
and
they're like laid back potheads,
and how Vancouver sees Toronto.
Yeah. They're like gung ho. Like
it's literally the same.
Cape Town is
because the dynamics are exactly the same. Vancouver is a smaller city, but it's got the beauty. It's got the cool
outdoor
atmosphere,
lifestyle.
Whereas here it's go business, make the money.
Yeah.
It's kind of like New York,
it's
LA.
New York Canada's New York.
Yeah, so Johannesburg and Cape Town, that's the same dynamic.
Cape Town is Vancouver.
Yes.
Interesting.
Cape Town is honestly the most beautiful city I've ever been to.
Oh, I had a South African science teacher in between grades 6, 7, and 8, and he was from Cape Town. He'd constantly be talking about Cape Town, showing us pictures of Cape Town, just pushing Cape Town.
What nobody tells you about Cape Town, though, is it's windy as fuck.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you can go to the beach, but not that much because you're on the beach getting, like, you just get slammed by sand the whole time you're there.
Jesus.
So you're like, this is awful.
Is it because it's like between two bodies of water?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah,
I don't get
Okay,
science.
that's
You
my
think
guy.
I get science?
The only reason I realized that's a thing is because when I lived in San Francisco has the bay on one side and the ocean on the other side. So it would be windy as a motherfucker and like foggy. And I'm like, this is the weird climate that happens when you're between two places. You're like on a peninsula between
Yeah, well,
two
so the most beautiful point of Cape Town is actually the Point of Good Hope, which is where
these names are.
It's like, you know, white guy showed up and he was like, I feel hope here.
Yeah,
and then
indigenous guy's like, get the fuck out of here. It's actually called Mount Kabunga. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's a Hope. Hope Point is now what it's called.
That's exactly how they're named. That's hilarious.
What I want to know is, like, apartheid ended when?
94 is kind of the official date.
Really?
But you saw
With his
changes.
presidency?
Yeah, you saw changes really start in like the late 80s. It like started changing little laws at a time, you know, and then it eventually just fell.
Was it? Do you remember?
Also, please don't like. I was there and I lived it, but I'm not like.
No, I get it, bro.
I wasn't listening in history.
Yeah,
you know, like I was a.
I'm not even asking about the history. I'm just asking about the vibe.
The vibe.
When you were younger, do you remember?
I played with black kids from when I was like.
Oh, not even you specifically, but I'm saying the adults. Was there? Was it? So you were like part of like the white South African, because you're white South African.
Yes.
Your family's white South African.
Well, no, my family is not African like at all. My mom's Canadian.
Okay.
My dad is Israeli.
Okay.
But born in Zimbabwe. But white Zimbabwe.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It's just like the white.
Yeah.
It's countries always have white pockets.
Yeah.
And it's like you guys are part of that.
Well, it's because of World War II, right? Like the Jews ran as far away from Europe as possible. So your options
even
were...
to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, they literally
That's how you know the Nazis were bad.
Yeah.
You're like,
but then they piggybacked on the British, who had just been ravishing hundreds of lives for years.
like in those countries?
Because all those pockets are like,
colonies.
the Jews were basically in ties with England, right? So they send them to all the colonies.
Yeah, and when they get there, it's like you're closer to us than you are to the locals,
Exactly.
right? So then you just join that thing. But what I want to know is like, what was there anti like? Well, he was the first black president.
He was the first black president.
Was there some like anti-Mandela sentiment growing up?
Not in my like vision or circles, but yes, for sure.
For
of
sure.
Course. Some people see him as a terrorist.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know the exact details, but they tried to bomb a building.
Yeah.
And like
this is what he went to prison for.
Yeah, that's what he went to prison for, and like that is, that's not good.
That's terroristic. Yeah.
It is, but it like you get the terrorism.
Is it? Yeah,
it's different. You get that terrorism. Like I understand it.
As a white South African, you have to really tiptoe in how you talk about Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, but that's why I said I'm very pro Mandela.
It's just funny to me, the whole dynamic, because it's like I have so many questions. Like when you came here,
yes,
do you enjoy being a white guy more in South Africa than a white guy here in Canada?
Yeah. I was trying to work a joke for the longest time, but it always bombed. I was like, I have the immigrant story.
Yeah.
But nobody gives a fuck
because you're white.
Because I'm white. It's like this isn't fair. Right, like I'm struggling like every other immigrant who's just trying to make a better life for himself.
But your accent serves you, though. It doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, but the crowds don't like it.
Yeah, okay, but like dating scene.
Yeah, dating scene, pretty good.
That accent probably helps.
Yeah.
You're like
but if you want me to get real honest about it, I'm starting to really hate it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like
the novelty's up.
Yeah,
it's been 8 years.
Like and then they it's like that's all they care about. Then they get to know you, and they're like, "Oh, no."
Yeah. This isn't worth the accent at all.
Yeah. It's like, you can be a piece of shit and sound classy about it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Yeah.
That dress makes you look fat, darling. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, wait.
Well, people start to make it seem like that's the only thing interesting about me, and that's what starts to get on my nerves. It's like, I'm a pretty weird dude. I've lived a pretty fucking crazy life, and this is what you're interested in. Something I can't control or choose. You know, I just talk, and this is how I sound. So,
is English the main language?
Yes, English is the main language, followed by Afrikaans, but Zulu is the most spoken language.
Zulu, is that
Zulu.
like Pidgin English or something?
No, it's like the local native tongue. Right, because the black population is actually divided in itself. There's different tribes, right? And Zulu is the predominant one.
Yeah, I hear about like Mos Def and those rappers, like Zulu Nation or something like that.
So,
do you speak Zulu?
Oh, I wish, man.
Yeah.
No, I went to private school, unfortunately.
When you go to the markets, are they like? Is it Zulu? Like when you go to buy shoes or something?
I mean, there's a big push to speak English.
Yeah.
Which. We can discuss.
But you get the best prices in Zulu.
Yes, 100%. Okay. You get it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I tried to take Zulu in high school, but I was the only kid who wanted to. So because everyone just wanted to take whatever and get it done with. But I was like, I want to learn something cool. Then they hired a Zulu teacher, but I was already so deep in Afrikaans that I was like, I'm not going to change languages now.
Yeah.
I got to get through high school.
Right? Afrikaans is kind of like it's awful. Dutch.
Worst, yeah.
It's weird Dutch.
I don't get it. I cheated my whole way through high school.
Afrikaans.
Literally, I played the Jew card on the day of the final because it was Yom Kippur the same day. That's like big. I was like, I can't write an exam.
I can't use clocks.
I got to go with tone, you know? It's like I haven't been to a synagogue in years.
I can't use a mechanical pencil. They're like, we have a regular pencil. You're like, I can't do it. Yeah. HP2 can't be done.
So
Afrikaans.
So they let me write it the next day.
Yeah, and you failed it.
No, I got all my friends to tell me what was in it, but I made sure I still got a really low mark.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't obvious.
Oh damn! Okay, right? You got a conscience.
I got like 50, and I was like, "That's enough."
Bro, you could have went to 80. Were you that bad of a student that it would have alarmed?
I was failing Afrikaans, and if you fail Afrikaans, you can't get into university. And they were like, "Yeah, you're just not going to university." And I was like, "Yeah, because I don't get it." Turns out now I know why. I'm 32, sorry, turn 33 next week, and I got diagnosed with dyslexia in January.
Wait, who is diagnosing dyslexia in the 30s? Did you go to a doctor and be
my brother...
S's and 5s.
So my brother... Yeah.
They're flipping.
Here's why that's interesting is because that's what we think dyslexia is, right? That's what I thought dyslexia is. That's not what dyslexia is at all. It's a concentration disorder, much like ADHD, right? So it's you literally don't know you're seeing a mistake.
Oh.
Right? Like you you cannot recognize mistake.
Well, how did you pick up on it?
So I talked to my brother. My whole life we've been the black sheep of our entire families.
Yeah,
right?
but white though.
Yeah, we come from the black sheep of a white family.
Oh, like why? Like
very crazy father, drug addict, the whole thing.
Okay, just like as a result of actions and history and stuff.
Like listen, complicated man. Yeah. I don't think this is therapy.
Yeah.
But
it can be.
Yeah. Listen, hey, I'll talk about my dad anytime.
I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
Keep
going. So my dad actually left South Africa.
Okay.
Because he moved to England.
Okay.
And then he moved to Poland, and then he moved to Budapest.
Ah, yes, the wanderer.
So I didn't really see him that much, but we would have our holidays in South Africa. So luckily I got to see a lot more of South Africa than I think the average person, which is kind of neat. Really opens your eyes to a lot in that country, right?
Really?
Yeah, like there's this area called the Transkei, and it's so poor, man. Like
This is in Johannesburg, or
it's like in
the boonies.
What province is it? I'm gonna fuck up.
I didn't even know South Africa had provinces.
Yeah, we have 9.
Don't look at me, bro. Don't look at me, man.
It's 9 and 11 official languages.
Okay. And this place, what was it called?
It's called the Transkei.
The Transkei.
Yeah.
It's like a village.
Yeah, like a settlement almost. Like a permanent
refugee camp.
Yeah, but it's like a town.
Gotcha.
Right, Soweto's the same. You've heard of Soweto, I'm sure. So outside of Johannesburg, where they moved the black people, was to this neighborhood called Soweto. So it's known as like the black part of town.
Gotcha.
Right? Growing up, that was the black part of town.
That's where you go for jazz and shit.
Well,
jazz and fatty
African
comfort
jazz.
foods. Yeah.
Not a lot of
African jazz is one of
Yeah.
the sickest jazz. Ethiopian
for
jazz,
sure.
Nigerian, all that shit. Ooh. Sorry, but keep going about.
I don't remember what. So Soweto.
There's something sky.
Dude, I used to go to Soweto all the time. My best friend in primary school was this black kid named Simpiwe.
Yeah.
And like his
Great
grandmother
names.
made the fucking best food, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, we would eat together at lunch, and I'd bring like these little ham sandwiches as a Jew, and like eating ham sandwiches.
Wait, how are you having ham as a Jew?
Oh, listen, I was raised Jewish,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Yeah, okay.
My mom's actually one of these, like, the wind,
Yeah,
you know, like
okay.
a
Like
hippie love child.
Native
Yeah.
American Jew.
She's like, the energy is God, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
And you got to talk to it.
So ham sandwiches, no problem.
Yeah, ham sandwich,
yeah.
no problem. And then my, I totally lost my train of thought.
No, we're just talking about your best friend.
Yeah, so I would go, like, we would eat lunch together at school, and his food was like African stews, man.
Yeah.
That shit was so fucking good.
And
So,
you're just
like-
having literally ham sandwich on Wonder
Yeah.
Bread.
So I was always like, dude, I'm coming to your house, you know? Like, I want more of this food.
But
So
that
food driven.
that sky, that poor area, what's it, something sky?
Transky.
Transky.
The
Why did you
Transky.
go there?
Oh, like me and my dad would like do road trips around the coast.
Yeah.
And like visit places and stuff.
Is there like when you go to these places that are super like impoverished like that, can you go into an area like that and just exist? Or would they be like, why are you here type thing? Is it, I don't know, is it
I think when you think,
I feel like there's more
when
racial
you-
tension in my head in South
Yeah.
Africa than there might be.
when you go in with the mentality like that, where you're like expecting there to be tension, what do you think
creates-
you're gonna?
yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna create tension.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you go in and just treat them like people,
Yeah, nothing happens.
nothing ever. Yeah.
Interesting.
I had a very minimal crime experience in South Africa.
Gotcha.
I had stuff.
Yeah,
There was
yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah.
because the country's poor, man. These people need to eat, and then they wonder why someone's in your house stealing your shit. Like, of course.
Is it like Sudan where every window has metal bars?
Yeah,
Every window and door?
outside of the property have like spikes and shit?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's crazy because my mom growing up, we didn't have a wall to our house because she grew up here, right? So like
not having a wall is very strange over there.
it was
Your property is supposed to be enclosed
because
by
you would look around and everyone else
Everyone.
had it. And my mom had this theory. She was like, if you put it up, it
would-
shows like you have something to hide. So I just leave my walls on because I'm poor and I have nothing. But you can come in if you want. You know, that was her mentality. It was like,
Was there ever any break-ins?
not in that
It
house. This is actually a funny story. It's like the only theft that ever happened was one night I had my window open because it gets fucking hot and we don't have ACs.
It is Africa.
And then I was sleeping with a blanket on me, right?
Damn, privileged.
Yeah, privileged as fuck. And a homeless guy came and he stole the blanket off me while I slept,
Yeah.
right? Because he could walk in. And then the only reason I know this is because my brother woke up, right? And he was like, "Where's your blanket?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know." So we went out to like look for it, and there he was sleeping in the park with the blanket. And
That-
you're like, I can't even be mad.
What's so funny is that your reaction to a blanket missing is we need to leave our home
To find
and find this. You knew it was outside
Yeah, it
of the
was
house.
gone. Yeah. That's funny
so
way to-
funny, dude. One time in Sudan, where I was on a bus, and Sudan beat like Tunisia in some big soccer game. So everyone was in the streets like going crazy, and I'm just sitting there on the bus, windows open, wearing a hat. And some guy just reaches in, grabs my hat, and I go like just imagine sitting there, and
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, dude, my hat. I just see him running off with the new
Do
hat.
you remember what the hat was?
It was some bullshit hat.
Aw.
But like it got robbed off your like the moment
Off
it got
your
robbed,
head.
I'm like, that was my favorite hat.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the same without like I've never
Yeah.
been robbed like that where you're just like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I've actually been mugged more living in Toronto.
I could see that.
Yeah. I was mugged in Rosedale.
Where is Rosedale shittier? Like
Rosedale's a really nice neighborhood, but where would you go mug people? I'd go to the nice neighborhood. I'm not
Yeah,
going to fucking
exactly.
mug people in Kensington Market. It's like you're poor hippies. I'm not doing that, you know?
You got to go in an area where like people's lives are definitely, undebatably more valuable than
Yeah,
like,
and then they run
valuables.
into me, and I was like, you just made a bad choice.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know Afrikaans.
Yeah. I just gave
I got
him.
nothing.
He literally was like, "Give me my." I just gave him 20 bucks.
You're like, I've got this wool sweater.
Yeah, you want
You
the.
could- Yeah, you could have this wool sweater if you want. But that's interesting though. South Africa. Actually, I really want to go there. And like, anytime I hear comedians or musicians talk about touring through Johannesburg, it's always a blast. Apparently.
Yeah, Cape Town too.
Yeah. Or and maybe even Cape Town specifically.
So you should try and aim if you want to do it. There's actually an amazing arts festival at the Grahamstown University. Like it's
like their fringe.
It's like their fringe, yeah. And so you can do like really good shows there that fund your trip, like to other
Really?
parts of the country. Yeah.
Can you actually? What's that? There's this South African comedian that's fucking hilarious, and I never learned about him until Comedians of the World. He's a tall black guy.
Yeah, Loisa Gola.
I think so. That guy's hilarious. Did you know that guy before you came here?
We'd met like once or twice. Yeah.
You met?
Yeah, but no, he wouldn't like. He'd barely know. who I am.
You're like a mic.
I left 1 year in, right? I'd only been doing stand up like a year when I left.
Gotcha. So you were
So,
even
like,
making eye contact with people.
Yeah,
at
I
that
mean,
point,
I booked a show.
Yeah.
That's how I got into stand up. Was I booked a show where comedians would come and perform at this bar, and that's how I started. Was I saw other people do it, and I kind of wanted to do it, and then my friend who owned the bar put my name in the open mic section because he knew I couldn't turn down attention.
Yeah.
And so when they said my name, I went up and
You're like, Ariel?
I was like, and then I did pretty well.
Who else sucks at Afrikaans?
Yeah. I was like,
Zulu, make some noise.
Actually, I was like, who else is trying to sell their semen? That was the first story I ever told
Like,
on a stage. But then the booker
Are
was
there
like,
sperm banks in South Africa?
yeah, of course.
Enough that like it's an income stream.
I mean, it paid 150 rand, which is the equivalency of $15.
And how much like filtering process and like
They pay you for the
screening
first
you?
one,
Yeah.
and they screen it, and then they invite you back.
Interesting.
Right, so-
Based on the quality of the cum.
Exactly.
This is thick stuff. You call that guy back. Yeah. The scientist gets it. Ooh, you can give this guy a call back already. This is thick. He's just touching it. This is good stuff.
Putting it on toast. You're like, what is happening here?
Jesus. What was stand up like there versus here?
I wish I had spent a few more years there doing it.
To get more of a sense?
Yeah, because the community was fucking cool. They were always really great to me. Everyone's a lot more tight-knit because this was just so few.
Yeah.
But it was also just kind of... It was interesting because I came to it after being in music for so long. I'd worked in music for so long, and the world's just so different. Right?
Well, you worked in music doing what?
Yeah, I started throwing concerts when I was 15. Like putting on like punk shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. You'd like rent a venue? Or?
Yeah, just rent a venue. My mom made promotional gifts like merch.
Yeah.
So I would find bands and I would get them to make their merch with my mom, but then I would come to shows and sell it.
Damn, bro, you got that 15?
Yeah,
That's a
I've
hustler
always
spirit.
been kind of like entrepreneurial. I could always see opportunity.
Yeah.
But I'm really bad at follow through and work ethic. So
yes.
I want the quick money. Like, I think in another life I would have been a really good con man.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because like I kind of like the funness of it, right? Like
Like the
just
hustle,
the
I get
hustle.
it.
But
yeah.
like, I don't like the work, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I could see that.
I'm
But
getting better at that part now, though.
it's like now that we know the
COVID.
dyslexia, we can work around it, right?
Yeah. So, because like, well, the dyslexia is one part of it. I'm also like, I'm a depressed dude, you know, I get in my own way. I'm self-destructive.
You're a comedian.
Right? Yeah, and that's the truth. Is that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Isn't that all you want to do? I just want to get on a stage and talk shit.
Just get on the mic.
And then I want to go home, you know, and then I want to wake up and do that again tomorrow. But like seems like you got to do way more work to get to that being the goal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you said music and stand-up were way different worlds.
Very different.
Explain.
Stand-up is, because in a band you at least have to represent an entity. Like together we have a shared vision.
Gotcha.
Right? So they work together. There's like a lot of like bouncing off each other. It's more like an improv group versus a stand-up, right? Like that.
Which is solo
Like
performance.
I've done
I've done improv.
You've done improv.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
way more supportive.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everyone
That's why I didn't
hypes
like
each
it.
other
That's
up.
why I didn't like it that much.
And we want the joke to end. And
Yeah.
in improv, you never want the joke to end, really. You want to keep
Keep
it
it going.
as long
And
as
I
they're
can't stand on
responding.
the sideline in my head just being like, fuck, I wouldn't have gone that way with it.
yeah, that's
You know what I mean? Like just those egotistical
Yeah.
thoughts like, fuck, I knew he was going to go that way with
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
that type of shit. That's why I like stand-up. But stand-up always, it attracts the people that like weren't the biggest into team sports and always like is obviously attention seekers, but people that rely on their individual strengths. You know, we want the thing that like if we do good, we want no like question that it came from you exclusively. You know?
Yes.
Like you don't want to go do
Yeah.
improv, just be like, fuck. Like you think your thing was the funniest and you're there watching everybody's thing and you're just like, we're way more egotistical than people who do improv.
Oh,
we weren't raised as well.
1000%.
We weren't raised as well. Like let's just say that I took a bunch of improv classes at Second City.
I like
don't mind it.
improvising on stage in stand-up.
Oh, of
The
course.
most fun you can have.
When I say improv, I have nothing against the art of improvisation. I'm just saying the culture that surrounds
Yeah, not a fan.
improv is like people that were raised better than stand-up comedians. I swear, I took many classes. Like when I first moved to Toronto, my agent was like, if you want to book commercials, you're going to need to build your acting resume. The good way to build your acting resume is to go do improv at Second City. So I did like 4 of those classes, right?
yeah.
Great people. I met great people. It's a good program, all that shit, all the disclaimers.
I've taken a few classes there myself.
But I always got the vibe, like if you took like an improv class or like an improv, I don't want to be shitting on people that I know that do this, but like like an improv class is comprised of people who were wedgied in their youth. Get all the people who are wedgied in their youth, they're the ones who are doing improv. It just always was like this, a lot of like, yeah, great stuff, and like bring it in. And like, I'm just at the side, like, dude, so many times in improv class, the teacher would, when it was my turn to add my improvisation, because I go dark and I want to push the envelope.
Yeah.
On more than one occasion, she goes, okay, stop. And she gets a laminated sheet off the paper that explicitly states all of the policies of Second City. What's allowed, what's not allowed.
Really?
Remember, sexual this is not this. And like, you would stop my scene to remind us of what the code of ethics. I'm like, oh my God, this is why.
I would not. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, I'm like, this is, come on, just let it happen. And
Let it happen.
afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards
She
you can
stopped
come,
it.
Afterwards,
Okay,
come have a word. You know?
Laminated and doing this as if we're all reading it. It's all like thin text.
Yeah.
It's like, we
Like
can't
a-
really read what you're showing us
It's,
right now.
it's oddly biblical that.
Fair,
Like, here
yeah,
are
exactly.
the words.
The Testament. Read the 7th and 8th. Thou shalt not be dark humor.
But please be free.
Yeah, exactly. Remember,
Okay.
this is a safe space.
Yeah.
But don't do that again.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up again, you know?
Well, I always.
But good people, all that stuff, you know?
Right, because I booked, right? So I did music, and then I transitioned into a tour manager. I went on the road with a bunch of bands while managing a band myself. And then I got a job at a label, which I got fired
This is
from.
all there?
All there. And then one of the bands I had worked with, the drummer and his and the bassist of a band, they bought a venue together, and they are like, I worked there. I was like the night manager, but I also booked all the shows.
The night manager.
The night manager. That was my job title. Night
So funny.
manager.
That just reminds me of what's that museum one with Ben Stiller? Night at the Museum.
Night at the museum.
You
Yeah.
just make sure animals aren't alive.
Yeah. So it was this cool little bar called Gin, and it was one of the bumping spots when they bought it. They bought it from one of these guys who's really good at starting venues, getting them real hot and selling them.
Yeah. It's called Gin.
Yeah, it was called Gin, and I was there for like 2 and a bit years running that. And then I came here, right?
So you came here and you started working for Yuck Yucks to do kind of the similar type of work.
So I actually was trying to find a job in music, and then I fucked up.
Yeah.
I had like gotten the job, but I hadn't signed the deal.
Yeah.
And I went to a show that I couldn't afford to go to, and I was like, "Oh, I work here," because I thought I worked there.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was waiting for the offer,
Yeah.
and because I did that, they
That's
thought it was
so
like,
funny. Like presumptuous of you.
yeah, and then so I didn't get the job.
That's the worst way to lose a job.
Yeah. But also, dick move. Like,
Yeah.
why?
No. I'm starting
I
on
should've
Monday.
just
I'm
paid-
starting on Monday. It's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I should-
ask Steve.
Yeah, I should
There's
just.
nobody here named Steve.
I should have just paid the $25 or
Yeah.
whatever it is to see the band, you know? But I was very poor at that time. I left South Africa on a whim, which is not how you're meant to immigrate anywhere. If you want to leave where you live, go with a plan.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't just be like, I'm done here. Because that's what I did. I had a crazy year before I left. Like, my best friend died in the January. And then
The January.
the January
Yeah.
of that year. That's what I mean.
Sorry to hear.
The
Yeah.
January.
This was like 8-9 years ago.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
24, turning 24, and
Okay.
I turned 33 next week, so 9 years ago. So yeah, he died. Then I got really sick. They thought I had TB. I actually have done quarantine before, people. So
Yeah.
this is my second rodeo. I had to do like 2 weeks in a hospital under quarantine. Turns out I didn't have TB. I had some kind of rare Jew bronchitis.
Oh shit! Yeah.
That it's like, I didn't know Jews could get a specific disease, but okay.
Bronchitis, breathing, lung related.
Yeah,
Seems
yeah.
like a very Jewish ailment.
Well, the guy was like, "These are so common in Jews." That's what he
Yeah,
said to me.
yeah. That's the South
my
African
doctor was a Jew, so
Yeah.
he was like, "It's so common in Jews."
"It's our people's gift."
Yeah, right. And then I was in an awful car accident.
Oh goddamn!
Like a really
all
bad
that
car
year.
accident in like 7 months.
What happened in the accident?
I had just changed lanes.
Yeah.
And so the lady saw my indicator on. She thought I was now taking a left turn. So she came into the intersection, but I had just changed lanes. So I was still actually going straight.
Gotcha.
So I just went boom, like right into her, and it knocked me into oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
And a car was coming, and I just pulled the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I ramped into someone's fence. Yeah.
Did it fuck you up?
Yeah, that was my second really atrocious accident. And here's what's crazy about both times. I didn't do an MRI. This is what Africa's like. They were like, "Are you good?" I was like, "I'm good." And they let me leave. Dude, people are like, "This guy's mentally ill." No, I've been in 2 near-death accidents. Okay.
They're like, yeah, follow the finger.
Yeah.
He's good.
What color are you?
Yeah.
You still
yeah.
think you're white?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Get out of
I
here.
think I'm white.
Yeah.
He's on it. He's on. That's so crazy. Yeah, man. Imagine the fucking how many MRIs an African hospital would have in the queue for that. You gotta be like bullet in the head, fucking like brain cancer.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're overworked for sure.
Yeah.
I just learned that I was speaking to a friend back home who became a doctor, and she was telling me that Harvard students, their first year like internship, a lot of the time they will try and get them into South African hospitals because they're like the craziest
That's like boot camp.
hospitals. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, that's insane. Then I asked her.
They do that with Chicago too. That's the
Oh
fucking-
yeah, nuts. So
Chicago and Johannesburg.
So I asked her, what's the craziest thing you've seen in a South African hospital? And she was like, oh, a guy came in once with a hatchet, like just in the side of his face, like just stuck there.
Yeah.
And he was alive, talking, like he had, like it was in him. And she was like, he's like just talking to me
It's like,
normally.
can you guys get this thing out of
yeah,
my
it's
face?
Like, it's like we don't know if like we pull it out, you might die. You know what I mean? Maybe the way it's
Yeah,
holding
they tell
it.
you never touch.
Yeah.
Doctors say they
So-
never take those, like when you get impaled like that.
Yeah,
never
yeah.
take that shit out. That's fine. Anytime you meet a doctor, anytime I meet a doctor who works emergency, that's the go-to question.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
the craziest
tell
thing
me.
you've
I
ever
need
seen?
to know.
What's the craziest thing?
What's the craziest thing you've seen? You must have seen crazy shit.
Like, I'm
Just-
not a doctor.
No, but
Yeah.
you
I'm
know
not
what
a
you
yeah.
know what I mean. Like I don't know. In South Africa, I saw way crazier shit than I see here. I saw an armored car heist once.
Oh yeah.
And then I was late for work, and my boss was mad at me. I was like,
You're
dude,
like, it was a heist.
I saw a truck drove into a money van. It literally went boom, and then guys got out with guns and shot the fucking thing up. And I'm like a traffic light away,
Legit.
like waiting to go. Oh, the light's green. I'll go to
were
work.
they just shooting to open up the door, or they're like killing the money?
I think they were trying to get the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nuts. It was crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen some shit like
That
that.
happened here.
Yeah. Oh,
I'd
that'd
get
be
it. I'd get the day
news.
off work.
Oh yeah.
So quick.
100. You probably get a ribbon the next day.
Probably 2 weeks off. They're
Yeah.
like, your mental health matters. You know?
You're like, I've been seeing someone. It's just the way the van hit. I can't stop dreaming about it. It's okay. You're a hero. Go home. It's on us. Therapy's on us. I mean, I've seen crazy shit, but you know when someone asks you to just like open-ended, like, what's the craziest shit? I can't. even think about anything right now. I've seen a million things. I don't know what the fucking. You put me on the spot, motherfucker.
Sorry. I thought you were an improviser.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been wedgied enough yet, my friend.
Nice.
I really want to go to South Africa though. It's been in my head ever since I had that science teacher when I was a kid who was pushing Cape Town and just seeing pictures of it, because no other teacher was that like into their, or like patriotic, or like that proud of whatever, even if they were for Canadian, American, whatever they were. Nobody else was like South Africa, you know?
Yeah.
Cape Town.
I took my ex. We went for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And we did like, I think it was pretty great going back as a tourist, but planning the tour. Not good.
Don't mind me. I'm just, I got a bunch of coffee.
That's what he thinks of my ex.
Yeah. Excuse me. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went and I planned like the entire trip. And I like showed her like an authentic South African experience with all the touristy stuff built into it.
You guys broke up right at the end.
Yeah. Like the minute we got back, she was like, no.
Now that that was what the whole reason she dated you. Now that that's happened,
I got the trip.
Yeah, I got the trip. The accent's wearing off.
Yeah.
I'm done.
But Cape Town. Here's the problem with Cape Town. If you go to Table Mountain, which is like the big attraction.
Yeah, that's what he's always pushing. Table Mountain.
Honestly, it's literally. You know how people are like it's breathtaking, and you're like, that can't be real.
Yeah.
It's breathtaking. Yeah. Mainly because you're up so high, you lose breath.
Yeah. You know? The oxygen is...
You literally are losing your
less breath. Oxygen.
But it's beautiful out there.
I'd love to go, man.
It's a confusing scene because it creates real false romance.
Really?
Right? Because you're like... If you just go up there with someone, you're just like, this is
my soulmate.
Yeah, like that's how you feel in the moment. That's why people go to the tops of mountains with people.
To propose and shit.
Yeah, right? Like, that's my ex said that. She was like, I thought you were going to propose at that moment. And I was like, I told you I didn't want to get married. Yeah. So I don't know why you thought that.
That's so funny. You're like, no, but the view's pretty sick, right? Yeah, pretty sick view, right? If I went there for comedy, would there be like a lot of... There's a lot of theaters and stuff. Or actually, what am I thinking? Forget about theater acts, but like as a mid-tier, as someone who does feature work here.
Firstly, the shows are structured very differently. There isn't really a headliner.
Yeah.
It's 3 acts usually.
Oh, it's just like,
like the
England.
British style.
It's just like, London's the same.
The shows are long.
Yeah.
Instead, where here we like to do, like I personally am much more fan of like the 2 shows tier.
Yeah.
Right? Because I find by the end your audience is tired.
They feel hostage. Yeah.
Well, they don't feel hostage because there's intermissions.
Oh.
It really do increase sales.
So wait, explain the show over there, actually.
So host, in South Africa's case, in the main club, the club is called Parker's, Joe Parker. Very good comedian, very cool dude. Like to me, always booked me, was always easy to deal with.
The club is called Parker's?
Called Parker's, and it's in like the main casino in Johannesburg.
Gotcha. A nice traditional club style setup?
Yep. Beautiful room, beautiful stage. It's a great space.
Yeah.
It's actually where I had my first bomb. So
yeah. Hell
lot of memories in that
yeah.
room. Well, it was good because I went back. Part of going back is I wanted to do some shows, and so Joe booked me. It's funny. I sent Joe an email being like, "Hey man, I'm coming back. Here's a video. This is where I'm at. I'd love to do the club." And he wrote back. All he said was, "I'm glad you got better." That's all he wrote back. No dates, nothing. So just like, "I'm glad you got better." It was savage. But it's like, yeah, of course I got better, right?
But they're like, what's the host time and like? So you said it's just the host of 3.
So 10, host 10, next act 20, host 10, next act 20, host 10, headliner does 25 to 30.
Huh.
So it's like 3 mini shows. It's like 3 minute. Well, then you build in the 20-minute intermissions.
There's 20-minute intermissions?
Yeah, they like go for cigarettes. It's like you reset the show every time.
And when is the intermission?
After each act, right? The host will come back. Hey, we're taking an intermission. We'll be back.
Really?
Yep.
The act does 20, and you take 20 minutes off. The host does 10.
Well, so it's like a 30-minute, a 30-minute, a 40-minute.
And there's 20 minutes in between each.
15, 20. Yeah, like they run long.
And you get full attendance coming back? Because I feel like you'd lose motherfuckers. That's just how all shows are. People are
how
expecting an intermission.
That's how the clubs run.
Gotcha.
Like there were other style of shows all over the city, right? Like, but at the clubs, that's how it runs.
Interesting, man. Obviously, like that way you push alcohol sales way up.
Well, you do the same on a 2-show system, right? Because it's double the people. So you're playing the same game, just in a different way.
What do you mean?
Well, so if I keep the people here for 2.5 hours, I'm going to get bigger bills.
Okay.
But on a second-tier show, I get double the people spending. So you've got 2 shows spending the same amount of money, hopefully.
Oh,
So really,
okay.
it depends which way you think your audience is going to consume alcohol, I guess. And I don't know those metrics,
Gotcha.
right? Clubs are meant to make money, so run your show,
that's the
whatever
whole
makes
point.
you the most money.
Interesting. That system, especially with comedians who work in England, it's so much better. That's why, like, over there in England, and I'm not sure if this is the same type of way in South Africa, but there's a lot more money to be made in the mid-level. Whereas, like, in Canada and the States, it's like everyone's kind of getting by until you're, like, pro headliner, then you're doing well. Whereas, like, in London, it's like a lot of the people will get those 20, 30-minute spots twice a night, and, like, they make enough to actually pay rent and live well off of that.
Yeah.
Like, Dylan Gott and these guys who spent a while there were just telling me, like, everybody eats. That's the model there is, like, everybody eats, whereas here's, like, you're either nothing and then you become something.
Yeah. I think I struggle with both. I think they're both pretty flawed systems in that, right? Because you got to earn the money. Like, you got to be good enough. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm paying you to do a job.
Yeah.
Right? And then sometimes I find, like I've had sets where I've been paid and I'm like, I don't deserve this money. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, I
just did a show 2 days ago where the host gave me the cash before my set. I'm like, no, that's a bad omen.
I would
Sets
I would
don't
never
usually go well.
I would never not pay someone if they bombed.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
But
when you give me the money before I get on stage, I just like the money after I get off stage.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean?
Actually,
like,
just
fuck,
send
it's
me
in
the
my
money
pocket.
in like 3 days. I don't want to think about the money.
But I mean, if it's a cash thing and it's like
yeah.
cash, it's like, you have it in your pocket right now? Yeah, okay, hook it up.
Yeah, thanks for doing that show, man. You were really good.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it, man. I'm getting back. It feels good. That
Your
place
videos,
you rent.
your videos actually are like, I'd seen you do stand up maybe actually only once or twice.
Yeah.
And it was always at the corner on like a Tuesday, which is not a good metric.
Corner on a Tuesday.
Like Natisha's show.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Right. It was, and then I was watching your videos over the pandemic. I was like, this guy makes me laugh, man. I'm into it.
What videos? Oh, like the comedy stuff?
Like all those little skits. Like there's always something.
You
in it
told me
makes
that. That's so funny. You were like, bro, it's like I want to hate it, but I can't.
Yeah, like I wanted to hate it because like you're doing something.
That's
you know
the
what I mean?
most comedian
like I wanted
sentiment
to hate it.
I've ever heard, and I get it, and I respect it.
Yeah,
It's
I was like,
I want to hate that, but damn
it gets
it's good.
me. It gets me, right?
That's what I'm going for. It's like, hey, try to hate it, but hey, it's done. The work is there.
Yeah, I realized I don't work nearly hard enough.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been going through a lot.
you have a job, right?
Yeah, but I was going through a lot, man. Like the last 3 years have just been nonstop but it was my own fault.
Yeah.
It was all my own doing, I was mentally ill before a lot of bad shit happened to me. You know what I mean? So it's like I just became more mentally ill. And I wasn't doing anything about it.
Do you do therapy and stuff out
I
here?
go to therapy every week. I go to group therapy every second week.
Were you an addict before?
Nope, not an addict.
You just like stories?
What do you mean?
I thought group therapy is like people tell stories.
Yeah, you basically share what's going on with you, right? Like, so you're actually bound by confidentiality. I'm not allowed to talk about anyone's issues in any way.
Gotcha.
Even my own. But
Goddamn.
the way it works is that there's a moderator. And when the session starts, he'll give you all like a minute and a half to just quickly say where you're at. And then you rate your problem on a scale of 0 to 5. And then he, as the moderator, would kind of like decipher where people are at. But everyone generally, if you have said 3 or up, you talk, right? But
So if you go to you guys, so do people just round their 2s to 3s just so they can?
No, most people are
like very honest.
Like
and
yeah, it's
okay.
like it's you also start to know these people, right? Like the group is pretty much the same people every week.
Goddamn.
So you get to know these people. You get to know their problems, how they think, what they're going through, right?
Why'd you start the group stuff if you're doing the therapy stuff weekly? Is it a different thing completely?
So different.
Yeah?
In regular therapy, you're bouncing ideas off someone to find the answers that suit you. In group therapy, you're getting peer support to know what does and doesn't work. Right? So I will think something alone in therapy, and I'll be like, yes, this is how I think about it now. And then I'll go to this group and tell them, and they'll be like, nah, dude, that sounds real bad, like a real bad thought. Or they'll be like, yeah, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, you get that, like, metric.
It's like peer-reviewed?
Well, because you're getting perspective.
Versus like institutional and like clinical.
And you get perspective, because what's the problem with reality is that it's all based on our perception. So you need a shared sense of reality to understand action, like what actions are good and bad, but they don't do that, right? Like nobody tells you if you're good and bad.
Yeah,
it's for you to decipher.
They just give their experiences.
Yeah,
or their
and like, or they've been there. So like, I had a depressive day. I didn't get anything done. I sabotaged all day, right? Like I just stayed in bed, right? And then they'll be like, yeah, I've been there. You know what I mean? And it's just like you don't feel so like alone.
If you had to give one of those two up,
group, I give up group.
You'd give up group?
Yeah, group's great.
Yeah,
but I get way more from my therapist.
Fuck yeah.
But if you want to know the thing that, because I've made a big shift. I don't want to come on here and sound like a douche, but you can change it. You can fix it. I'm not one of these just believe in yourself kind of people. I'm not one of these like be positive and everything will turn around. But if you're upset and you at least don't put up a fight, shut the fuck up forever. Okay? You gotta fight.
God damn.
You
this
gotta
is like
fight.
Have you been in therapy a long time?
Yeah. Seen the same therapist now 4 years.
Does it help as it gets like...
I go through times where I start to think I'm just repeating myself and I'm not... but the truth is, I grew up in a house where you had to talk about your feelings.
Gotcha.
My mother was very pro talk about it. However, I also learned no sense of boundary, right? Because that creates a real weird set of intimacy in your house, right?
Yeah.
Like me and my mother are close.
Okay.
Right? Like we are like
the people, at home, they didn't get the eye bulge when you said close.
Yeah, like
His
close.
eyes bulged.
Like,
he means close.
Yeah, like
I just wanted to express
like
that.
she is my best friend, that's insane.
Yeah.
Right? That's insane. Ladies,
I had the total opposite
don't
thing
date
when
me.
I was
Yeah.
like, I came from the total opposite where nothing is said. There is so like I come from a thing where every situation has 10,000 things that like there's always 10,000 things in the air that need to be said and have never been said. And like there's been like 2 instances, maybe 3 in my entire life where the family said some things that had to be said. Mm-hmm. But usually nothing.
Yeah, so it turns out like while it was like that, I didn't always do it because I had the dynamic of my father playing at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So telling my mom everything meant betraying my father.
Yeah.
So now I'm caught in this weird dynamic, and it's created a lot of my issues now in like relationships and stuff. Is like I like towed this line where I'm super honest, but I'm also super gray. You know, like it's like super like. So it's hard. I'm like a really hard person to date for sure.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
You're a
100%.
comedian, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, you've been through a lot of numbers, man. That's how it goes, dude.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's tough.
You're singing to the choir, man.
Yeah, it seems to be working out for you now, though.
Yeah, the key is to have red curtains and 2 cameras, I guess, and just fucking cry into the fucking mic. I didn't want to do engineering.
Yeah.
I didn't want. That's essentially what this podcast is for 110 episodes. I didn't want to do engineering, but they made me.
If you ever want to do a rebrand, you know what I mean? Like a year from now, this becomes.
What type of, it's going to be called, what type of engineer are you?
Yeah.
You know, the immigrant, what type of engineer are you?
Yeah. That's so funny.
I actually really wanted to do therapy, to be honest.
Oh, you've never done therapy?
I have. When I was in San Francisco, my brother passed away like 4 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And I went to therapy when I was I used to work in California for a little bit less than a year. Live in San Fran, work there, and I had benefits. And at that point, I always had that stigma thing. Like, it's a shrink, bro. They're gonna find out you're fucking thing, all that bullshit. And then at one point I was like, fuck it, I actually would love, because I'm in an area I don't know anybody. All of these are very hollow and like loose and very like early relationships, because I just moved here. So it's like, oh, I'd love to an environment where I could speak and stuff. But I didn't go to a therapist. I thought the person was a therapist. It turns out they were a fucking psychologist. Okay? Which is like, I wouldn't judge it had I not had that experience. I went for 2 sessions and it just wasn't what I thought it would be.
Well, yeah, it's also what type of therapy is there. Like, and there's like schools of therapy, right?
I didn't know that, and I didn't know people would talk to multiple therapists until they found a good vibe and stick with. I didn't know any of that. I just went through my fucking like benefits.
Yeah, fair.
It gave me an address. I showed up, and the real problem was the guy showed up like 2 minutes after me when I was in the waiting area. And he biked there, and he brought his bike into the. He's like, okay, come on in. Sorry, I'm late. And he put his bike down, and he sat, and he was like, "So tell me." I'm like, "You biked here, bro?
You're also late."
Yeah, like, exactly.
What?
So I had like some weird like, man, this guy's not a real. Like, he biked here, you know. But that didn't work.
But maybe that was his exercise for the day.
Yeah, exactly. And this is just stupid. This is stupid.
And then
thinking.
I get that. You know how many times I'm not getting enough exercise. I'll run to work, right? And I just show up, and now I'm like out of breath, and I'm like sweaty, and people are like, "Oh, you're at work." It's like, yeah, but this was my only time to exercise.
I know that works unless you're a therapist, apparently,
yeah.
right? Then it's like, are you good, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. I had some idea of how it would be based on movies, based on shows. I don't know what idea I had. I thought I would be lying back on a nice sofa, looking up, and they would ask me some very like deep psychological, and it wasn't that. Well, I just sat across him on a couch, and he told me to start talking. And I really was hoping that he would like steer and come in with some high level shit, and I'd be like, damn, this shit is crazy valuable. But it never was that.
But that's not how. He needs to know you before he can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I quit too fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Or, well, to be fair, if it didn't feel right from the
2
get-go,
sessions,
like
I went
my
back.
therapist now, the first session I felt comfortable.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend, she's doing the thing now, and she tried a couple people. Now the person that she talks to, she really enjoys talking to this person. She does it bi-weekly, and she's like, that shit's not enough. You need to up the frequency.
I only go to bi-weekly for financial reasons.
Yeah, well, that's exactly
honestly,
the same.
my therapist, bless her, she gives me a sliding scale.
Yeah.
She sees artists. She like built
You're
artists.
Like, keep sliding. What's her name? Keep sliding, Rebecca. Keep sliding.
So she but I am at her. She tells me when my session is basically. She'll be like Thursday at 5, and I'm like Thursday at 5.
So you're like the scraps of her availability because you've slid so far in the scale. She fits you in, right? Yeah. But still, as long as it's once a week, you get the job done, right?
Generally, it's the same day. So like,
and just so I know, and we beat this topic to death, but because I had Sama Hindi on, and she's like is a huge proponent for therapy. She's pushing therapy, especially on like Muslims and like all this stuff. So I respect that, and I'm very interested in it.
It's a bit of a cult, though.
Yeah, the way people talk about it, I could tell. But still,
it might not be the thing for you.
I would like to tip. Well,
it might not be
I'd
the
rather
thing for you.
Experience it and be like, this isn't for me, rather than be like demotivated by it from the outside. And like I said, that San Francisco thing, I was like, I want to reset on that. I don't think that was a good feel for what this is. But what I want to know is like, you do 30 or an hour session?
Hour.
What is that like? Now 4 years in, do you just go, today I thought about this, and she goes, it's interesting you thought about that. Have you thought about this? And then you go, no, I didn't think of it like that. Like how does it go?
I mean,
with no specifics, obviously.
No,
but
I'll do specifics with you. Like, for example, right now in my life, I'm realizing that I need to put more effort into the things I say I care about.
Okay.
Right? Stand-up has been the one thing I've cared about consistently for years.
Yeah.
But then I don't put out content. I don't write daily. I don't put on shows. I'm not doing like my career any service.
Gotcha.
Right? So like that is part of the focus. The other part is that there's no money in stand-up, really, if you think about it. Like,
like we're saying.
We work fucking hard on those shows, and we see no money from that.
Yeah,
right, which is fine. That's not the stage time. But now I'm basically working to perform.
Yeah, I'm running shows just to get on stage.
And there's an element of that doesn't I just want to perform.
I know.
Right?
I know.
And some people are in a position where that happens for them. And that's perception, talent, whatever. There's numerous reasons, right? But the truth is I also wasn't working hard enough. Yeah. So how can I be upset that this is where I'm at? It's like, I'll take this into therapy, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll explore my feelings around it. Why do I feel that way? Oh, well, because I failed at everything else. So now I feel like I'm failing at this. It's like, so is this real, or is my emotions getting in the way? And then you're like, well, my emotions are getting in the way. If it's real, we talk about it further. You see how you end up in a...
It's that yes-no tree, and you go down...
Yeah, you're like basically tiptoeing around yourself to find how you genuinely feel. Because the problem with thoughts and emotions they're fleeting. Right? It's why I never understood people who are like, I want to be a mind reader. It's like, are you out of you're fucking crazy. Because then you're coming into someone's head and thoughts are fleeting. Yeah, you don't know which thought is real. You don't know what. So it's like they always make it seem like this is the lie. It's like, well, maybe they're confused. You know what I mean? Like, right? It's so. Why was I telling you that?
And for people who listen to this podcast, they're like, bro, just get therapy already, bro. You're asking 80 people like every time, like, tell me how therapy works. Well, tell me how this shit goes down. Yeah. I'm very interested in it.
This is honestly,
and the only thing holding me back is that financial shit you're talking about. I'm like, I don't want to be paying I don't want to be budgeting for this monthly. But then on the other side, I'm like, well, if this is for you, like, this could really help you in your head. And like that affects your work, your relationship, your life, everything. Then it's like, is it not worth some money? You know what I mean? Am I just sometimes I'm just being like too cheap, and I just blanket statement like, if I gotta pay for it, it's not. Blah, blah, blah.
So as part of it's built into my budget. Yeah. Because what's more important to me? Being emotionally stable, because I'm an emotionally unstable person. That's just how I'm wired. Yeah. I literally, in a day, will feel every human emotion. I've almost cried 4 times today. Yeah. On this podcast. You understand?
I saw that.
It's like I am an emotional being. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I need to talk about it. And I need to talk about it constantly. And it's fucking exhausting. It's not, and that's why.
But it's worth the money.
That's why the therapist matters. Yeah. Right?
Interesting. Yeah. I'm definitely emotionally stable for the most part, but there are a lot of things that I would be like, I would like to.
So why are you curious then?
Because there's so many things in my life. Growing up the way I did grow up, 98% of things were unsaid. Mm-hmm. So you feel through relationships, I will share some things I've never said, but there's still the bulk of things that I have never vocalized.
Well, that's why you're drawn to stand-up, probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure myself out on stage, right? But even more than that, more than just trying to get a laugh, I'd like to be doing extra digging with a professional. Because in my mind, if the therapist is what I want, I think of them as like a master of the fucking navigating the mind of humans. You know what I mean? Like, this is what they learned. This is what they went to school for. It's like, this is a common thought. That is a fallacy. That is this. Whatever it is. Like, I want to have that conversation. It's just when I attempted it one time, it didn't go down like that.
A good therapist will never tell you that's a fallacy.
I don't know. I'm just reading a book that keeps saying fallacy. So forget the fucking word fallacy. It just keeps saying fallacy. Yeah. But I want that, and I think it would serve me big time. And it's just overcoming that thing of money. But everybody I know, every immigrant who's done it is bro, it's the best. They got a sliding scale, bro. Mine charged me $40 an hour, man. Yeah. And it's always sliding, bro. It's a sliding scale. And maybe the reason that I haven't done it for I've been playing with the idea of doing it for at least 6 months or a year. The only reason, because sometimes I'm driving, why haven't I done this shit yet? Why haven't I gone to the thing? It's it has to be fear on some level.
Yes, it's always fear.
It has to be fear on some level.
I don't know you that well, so I'm not going to say for sure, but it's the same reason. I don't know why you do stand-up, but every time I see a comedian, the reason I think they're doing stand-up is because they they want you to know this feeling. They want this feeling to be shared in the moment, right? Because that's when a joke does well for the best for me. When I'm feeling it and I'm like, this is how I feel, and they go, yay!
Yeah.
Right? Like,
we felt that.
right? So that when people ask me, how do you write jokes? I always ask myself, why do I want to tell this? I'll write the initial joke, and I'll be like, why do I want people to know this?
Damn.
And that's the joke.
Fuck. Yeah, see,
Huh?
I want that
That's the
emotional
joke.
intelligence. I want that type of shit.
You have that.
Yeah, but I want more. I want to pay $40 an hour. Is what,
Yeah,
this
I
is
wanna
what it
pay
comes
for
out
it.
to. I want to pay somebody. I just want to have.
So you
I
said-
want to do therapy and do bits about being in therapy.
Yeah,
I swear to God, that's
that's
really
why
what
you're
it
doing
is.
that.
I want to be like, so.
You want people to see you
Yeah,
as you're
I
doing
just.
well.
I'm
Yeah, I
like,
get it.
this is like research. It's almost like I'm afraid to bring in an expert into my mind.
So,
And I want to. I'm just to know,
I'll-
just to experience.
I'll say I think your motivation for wanting to do therapy is probably the wrong motivation.
So be it. I
No,
want to. What
if it gets you in the door? Yeah, please.
Right?
But it's
There are some things that I want to say and share and unpack some stuff that I think will serve me, like I said. But there's also the thing of like, I'd like to just I just want to be in this idea of therapy that I have the novelty of that. And then I want to do like bits about being like, my therapist said this, and this.
Yeah.
So
I
I
get
don't know.
that.
I want to have an experience I haven't had before. Is that so
do
bad?
it. No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good.
That's so bad.
That's a good want.
Yeah.
That's how you experience what
Improve,
works
I
and
think,
doesn't
grow.
work for you.
Yeah.
That's my thing has been for the last bit if I'm saying no to it,
Yeah.
I have to be sure I'm saying like why. So if I'm hesitant,
Yeah.
is it because of fear or is it because I actually don't want?
Yeah, for me in this scenario, I'm like it's fear because I want to do it. I haven't done it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, what is it? Ooh, therapy. What will I find out? You know. But we do this something on the podcast which I haven't done in a while, but
Sure.
I got to bring it back out because I haven't had South Africa before. 3 questions.
Cool.
Okay. First of all, were you beat as a child?
Yes, I actually was, but not by my mother. She got the maid to do it.
Actually.
Not too many times, like once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The maid, black South African.
Black South African. So I got black beat.
Yeah. That's
a
a harder
white kid.
beat. But no, that's a softer beat.
Softer beat.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want to
she's
lose
been
her
the
job.
employer's
She
kid.
didn't want to
Yeah,
lose her
yeah.
job, for sure.
That's a fucking
Yeah,
tough spot
that's
to put the
hilarious.
maid in. Beat my child.
That's
She's like, oh, okay. Like, what did they do? Give me context here.
Yeah,
Fuck. Okay, because I usually go like, okay, so if you're only beat by your maid, because so many people come on here and I have the question of like looking back.
Anytime I was getting beat,
Yeah.
I fucking deserved it.
Okay, and
was a-
were you
I was a
resentful
piece
at the
of
time? I'm assuming. You're
Actually,
getting beat.
not really. Because I knew I'd done it.
Did you resent the maids, or you knew it was your mom?
No, I knew I'd done bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I had done bad things.
So no regrets or anything about that. You just thought it was just desserts.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Some people come on here that got like whooped
Yeah, I didn't
for
get
no
a
reason.
whoop.
They
You
would
know
just
what
be
I mean?
like in their room working, and
Yeah,
they're like, "Why
never.
aren't you this?" And they would just get
That's
beat.
awful.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hope
yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't happen to anyone.
And they're not even in therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
If that happened to you, I'm so
just
sorry.
smoking.
Yeah,
No, it's not me. I got beat, but I had to have done so. I knew it was never a mystery when I was getting beat. But for some kids, dude, it was a mystery.
yeah.
And that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first question. You got beat by maids. You knew you deserved it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Second question. What's some shit you've only ever seen South Africans do? Whether it's in South Africa or abroad. Only South Africa.
Ooh, that's
You've
interesting.
seen. You only see this there.
I might need a few seconds to think on this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, it's mainly I notice it mainly in language. Like we call, it's so bad. We call each other's friends. We call them China. What's up, my China?
Actually?
Yeah.
What? Why?
It's like a slang term. It's from one of the other languages. It means like friend.
China.
Yeah.
Yo, what's good,
But
China?
We adapted the word, and now it's China. So it sounds like you're saying
Like
the
the
country,
country.
but
So it's not the country.
it's not the country.
So everyone down there, you're just gonna hear, yo, what's up,
It's
China?
like slang. It's like street slang for friend, you know?
Are there any words you know in Zulu?
I know like the basic like hello,
How you say hello in Zulu?
Salbona.
Salbona? Damn.
Yeah.
That seems like a long hello. It's a
I
lot
thought
of
about
syllables.
I thought about my next, if I do another album, that's what I'll call it.
Salbona.
Yeah, like just so lead right into the
The
African
only word.
shit.
Yeah.
Sup, the only word I know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Cultural appropriation right there.
So China.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard that.
So I can send you a link to this ad where it's like, even in the ad, it's like, that was like,
They're
the
using the
cheers off.
sign.
He's like, for your Chinas. That was the ad.
Oh yeah.
The guy's like, for your Chinas and your Chinas, right? Like
for all your boys?
for all your friends,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, this drink is for you. That was the ad.
That's the most in the know South African ad.
That's
And they
super-
do well.
yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's like Coca-Cola in South Africa.
Yeah, well, it's no, it's alcohol. Savannah Dry. It's like a cider.
Okay.
Yeah, or no, that was Hunter's Dry. Same company.
Yeah, someone
Same
said your
shit.
boys, man. Man, it's fucking Hunter's Dry, bro.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
guy's fucking lost his ways, man. Last
sure.
question. When people talk shit in general, like, is there one butt of jokes for South Africans? Like you go to countries and
Like in the country,
like
but
in
nothing.
Italians, they'll talk shit about the Greeks all the
Oh,
time.
yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about in the country.
In
Like
the
who's the
country.
butt of jokes? Like this guy's a fucking
Well, in the white circles, it's obviously black
blacks
people.
and vice
Come on,
versa?
Like, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that's-
But that's
that's even here. These fucking
when I was there. A lot of gay still. Like, they made fun of the gays a lot.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're still on that.
I mean, when I was there,
Better than Sudan.
It was
Sudan's like,
interesting.
they'll just
It was
probably kill
interesting
you.
to see it though, because that's so much worse.
Yeah, they'll
So
kill you
much
there.
worse.
So a
Yeah,
little
it's
making
like-
fun of isn't
I think
bad.
I'll take some
Yeah,
jokes.
yeah.
It was like being around people because I'd lived here and you could actually
So
see,
accepting and shit.
Yeah, and like you could see it, like you're just like, oh, this isn't good. What was the full question?
Yeah,
So
it
I
was
can
just
forget.
like who's the butt of jokes?
Who's the
and
butt of
thing, yeah.
jokes? Well, the president for a long time,
Yeah.
Jacob Zuma. That guy he was a real unifying. Fuck this guy.
Everyone hated him
I mean, he won the election, so no.
Yeah.
But anyone,
through time.
honestly, I can't explain it.
Yeah.
He kind of has a Trump-esque, if you go into it sometime. I mean, we can talk about it more, but he had like he was Trump before Trump.
He was
just
hard
doing
to
it in
like.
Africa. But then for some reason, very charismatic. Like,
Yeah,
can't count. But then everyone voted for him. I was like, he looks like a lizard man. I don't understand what is happening. How is this guy charming? And then
And people just talking shit the whole presidency.
I don't know. He's just got arrested and the whole country fucking burnt down for like 3 days. It was like, what is happening?
He's still the president?
No, he got impeached.
Yeah.
Then now they're pressing charges.
Yeah.
And the country was like, fuck, yeah, like he's a boy. And like fucking
That's so weird.
so weird. But they're not doing it because of that, right?
What are they
46% unemployment
It's 46 unemployment?
currently because of COVID.
46.
This is everything I learned as this was going down, because I'm not that in the know, right?
Yeah.
I barely know what's going on in Toronto.
Yeah.
right?
I actually couldn't tell you what the fuck unemployment is here. But
Yeah.
46,
I
goddamn.
think it's 9.7 after COVID,
Jesus.
which is insane. Like, listen
A
to those
huge
numbers,
difference, yeah.
Right?
But
So
what is it normally pre-COVID? What's the...
I think it was at like
probably high in general.
24-ish,
Yeah, it
24,
has to-
27. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was high.
Yeah, relative.
It was really high. And that's why the crime goes up, right? And it's not for any other reason that crime goes up. Desperation. So it's like, oh, maybe we should get people jobs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or C. I mean, it's the economic state. Sudan's no better right
Yeah.
now. Actually, we'll end on this better
Cool.
yet.
Yeah.
If
Is that
someone
too
is going to
sad?
South... No. Actually, yeah, exactly. What am I saying? Unemployment's like 50%. People are dying. They can't really eat. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. South Africa's fucked right now. If people are going to South Africa, what is the one attraction of... I'm assuming Johannesburg, we'll say. What is the thing? Is there like one museum you got to see? Is there one... What is the
you
one
want
thing?
that?
Yeah.
For me, none of that.
There's nothing. There's nothing.
The Apartheid Museum, if you want to
forget
know,
museums.
like I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to know about that, like the Apartheid Museum does a good job.
It's just like signs being like black,
Yeah.
white.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You actually
the Apartheid Museum is heartbreaking.
you actually walk in, they segregate you at the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just to give
Just
you
to
the
give you
real
what
experience.
it feels like.
Yeah. They spit in your face. Damn,
Pretty
you're
dope.
wiping it off. This is really authentic.
But it's like they don't do a full segregation. It's not color based. It's like it says white,
You are
black,
group
but
A.
like
Yeah.
you split your group
Gotcha.
basically. So it's like Yeah, it's pretty jarring.
You probably did that in like 8th grade field trip,
did it
right?
so many times,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I never took it in, right? Because you're always fucking around with your friends. You're like, I don't want to be on a field trip. Fuck this.
If you found out your friends when you were there in high school went on a date to the apartheid museum, what would you think?
If you're going on a date
What
to
would
the
you think?
apartheid museum, you've made a bad choice.
Yeah.
It's a real sad place.
Yeah.
You're going to just dry up that vagina so fast. Like, what? Like,
Yo, let's go. I got through to her. Where'd you take her? Apartheid museum. I did it at the water fountains. She went to colored. I went to white. We knew it was first class. My brother, it's been a pleasure to have you.
thanks
I
so
want
much
you
for
to look
having
in
me.
that camera and tell the people where to find you.
yeah, so I'm Ariel Kagan, Ariel Kagan Comedy on Instagram, but I'm also part of Bubby's Boys Presents. We throw shows all over the city. Check us out on Instagram at Bubby's Boys Presents. We have a show at the Parkdale Hall every Friday and free play on College once a month. So check that out.
Beautiful. I just did one of your shows, and that
Yeah.
shit was packed out.
Yeah, it was.
It was in a massive venue that I had no business
because
being
we weren't
in.
meant to be in there.
Yeah, yeah, you
right?
had-
We were meant to be on the patio.
Yeah.
And then we were meant to be in the coffee shop.
Yeah, yeah.
But then when we got there, they were like, "Oh, we called public health." They said you can't have this many people in the coffee shop, and I was like, "Why would you call public health?
Yeah, right. I don't get people.
Public health isn't coming here at 8 o'clock on a Saturday.
How did you even get through to them?
That's a Monday 9
After
to
office
5.
hours. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like
How'd you get
fuck's
through to them?
sakes. Anyway,
But it was a great show, nonetheless.
the show worked out pretty good. The crowd
Yeah.
was pretty into it. I think people are into it right now.
People are
right?
fucking ready,
They just want to be out
and they
having
love
a
it.
good time.
Every show I've been is that same vibe.
And then you realize how bad you are as a comedian now because you
we're
haven't
coming
been
back.
doing it.
We're coming back. I actually feel like I've improved somehow.
I've improved in like
I'm more willing to
sense.
take risks.
Yes, but I'm off. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
off.
yeah. You got to get back in the groove.
Yeah,
but
gotta get back in
still,
the groove.
I used to. If it was a book show, I wouldn't be trying new stuff.
Yeah.
And now
You have to throw new stuff.
The spots are so limited.
Yeah.
That
Well,
it's
also
like
because if you do
stage
old
time.
stuff, it feels like old stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I found. It's like it's been shelved for a year and a half. That joke's gone, bro.
Oh, there's
Or
guilt
rewrite
when you
it.
start
Yeah.
doing it.
You're like, this feels like I'm cheating.
But we're back. We're gonna shake that rust
back.
off. We're gonna get to it. As always, this man's description is in. This man's info is in the description below. Your boy just had a little bit of dyslexia right there.
Yeah,
For my end, if you want to support the show directly, get access to bonus episodes, check out patreon.com/the Immigrant Section. Besides that, if you haven't already hit follow, subscribe, please do that right now. I appreciate you big time. This has been a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll have
Thanks
you
so
back
much,
on, and as the cycle goes,
When Bubby's Boys does guests, we will glad you have you on.
I'd love
We're
to
still
have. I'd
working
love to
there.
be on, man.
Yeah.
Hook me up.
No worries.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not. Why would I?
Until next time.
You don't want to be in a room with 3 Jews?
Yeah, bro. The Muslims are like, did you see him on the most
On the
recent
Bubby's
sing,
Boys?
man? Yo, until next time, y'all the best. Peace. Yo, and that's the episode. Remember, if you liked it, smash that subscribe button so I can give you updates. And until next time, it's your boy Abbas Wahab. Easy.